Oh, hi again. So, okay, let's say that I am more than traumatized over the crunch, crunch, and like I cried out to Jules, "Help, Jules!" But Jules is across the pond, under the rule of the Queen, and so she could not come to my rescue. So I had to do a Google search on this because this has been confusing me for a long time about what the heck she's doing. Because I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you that mukbang, if you Google it, it's something that is a sexual thing. And it's because people like watching beautiful women or small Asian women eating large quantities of food. So why is Larry doing it? Okay? So I Googled it, and by the way, if you Google something, then that makes you an expert according to the laws of Lardo. So I am now an expert in mukbang, and I'm going to tell you, I looked it up, and it is basically, if you look at it, it highlights every single thing. It is narcissistic because it is gluttonous. It is a person eating a large quantity of food while others in our world are starving. So it is indeed narcissistic. So a narcissist trying to do that. She copies everybody. She talks proudly about how she's copied what her friends did down to a T, what other people in high school did. She copies everything. It's a copycat. It's not the kind of, oh, wow, it's a style I like. No, she tries to copy it and steal it. No different than the knockoff crap that she buys. It's that. So you have absolute pure mukbangers who make a good amount of money, and you have your knockoff mukbangers who are ridiculously fat, ugly people who eat large quantities of food which they don't need and puts them at a higher risk of getting diabetes and having a heart attack. It is a sexual thing. It is a fetish. That's where, men will do it because they like watching small, beautiful Asian women eating large quantities of food. You don't have to use your imagination too much to imagine what's going in the mouth. It's an oral thing, where, I can't say too much because, and so it's an oral fetish, and beautiful women eating large quantities of food. So once again, she's missing it. Because she's neither beautiful nor a small Asian woman. But she is eating in large quantities, which she's done for a lifetime, which is why she was really sweet when she was really large, because she was really well medicated by order of the court for some of her antics that she pulled back in Brookline. And in order for her to keep quasi custody of Burke so that she could continue to get all that she could get with food stamps and medical assistance and Social Security disability insurance and disability money for Burke, because she provoked Burke into many situations in which he was recorded, and she said that he acted out as a behavior disorder. She cornered him. She set him up when he was sick. Okay? Any animal, when cornered by something very large and hideous, is going to lash out, and that's all that happened. I do not believe that Burke has anything wrong with him other than he suffered from having a very, very mentally ill mother that basically alienated Goonie. I mean, she was enabled so much by Carol, because if Carol wasn't doing all of this, then Goonie would have had custody, and I believe that Burke would have been more brought up in the Turkish family, in which they love their family, especially their male heir. And so he would have had all of that love from his Turkish side had he been allowed. But that was a threat to her getting SSI and food stamps, so she had to alienate Goonie and act like it was a Goonie problem, whereas Goonie was just putting limits on her. So sorry I went off on a tangent there. I tend to do that. I do apologize. But so what we are saying here is when she was really big and fat and well medicated and huge, she said all these things about how she would be happy if she had bariatric surgery. It's the only thing that will help. No diets work. She's tried to exercise and she can't do it because her knee is busted out because of her ginormous tuchus and upper body build. And so everything that she did was built around she would be happy if. She would be happy if. She would be happy if she had bariatric surgery. She would be happy if she had the sleeve. She would be happy if. And the ifs were made possible by us who pay taxes because we have to work because we're not good fake liars that could get SSI for having absolutely freaking nothing wrong with us. Those of us who actually have ailments don't get SSI because of the faking liars. Anyway, so she had our tax dollars pay for her bariatric surgery. Now, in the bariatric surgery, she did succeed in losing some weight because her gut was stapled. So, what kind of an insult is it to taxpayers, her surgeon, and anybody else who waited on that that if she had this, she'd be good. If she had this, she'd be nice. If she had this, she'd be happy. Because now, not only did she bust through the bariatric sleeve, or the possibility exists she has more than one stomach, as bovines do. So, she is now trying to make a sport out of eating as much as she can by trying to copy those that get money from Mukbang. And what a ridiculous thing for somebody who tried to make themselves out as a spokesperson for having weight loss surgery. She gained a lot of followers by bariatric sleeve, bariatric weight loss. A lot of people really cheered her on through that because she was still medicated as per court order. In Brookline, she had people who knew what she did. They knew she stole. They knew other store owners knew her extended family knew her games, all of that. And so she had that. She couldn't go anywhere in Brookline and pull her scams. It was done. And so that's why she had to flee Brookline. And that's why she moves around, because people figure out her scam. She'll find a new mall that she can go and indulge her klepto side, and then she has to move because they figure it out. The pharmacies figure out that she's scamming them for prescriptions, and the stores know that she's stealing. So back to the mukbang. She's never earned anything, and that's the problem. Like, if she had to earn the money to get the money to do the bariatric surgery, number one, she would have had to have worked, so she wouldn't have been that heavy that she would have needed it. But number two, it might have meant something to her. But handing her that, she made herself so fat that it was medically necessary for her to get the bariatric surgery. And you are supposed to have a very specific diet afterwards. And as you can see, she isn't. And she's making a mockery out of it. And that big, huge mouth of hers has to have something in it. So she says she used to smoke and everything, but I don't think she could shut up long enough to inhale a cigarette. So it's just like the bubble gum and having a freaking spittoon next to her when she's eating big gobs of bubble gum. Who in the Samuel hell has ever thought of doing that? Like, I need to go get big gobs of bubble gum to put sugar all over my teeth and then spit it out. $10 says that that's what she uses as her water dish because she's too lazy to get up and put water. I bet you that Pom Pom just licks that sweet spit right out. So, again, I digress. I apologize. Mukbang is a narcissistic, indulgent, gluttonous, nasty thing she's doing. No different than any other nasty thing she does. But she's trying to get rich off of it. Because what a dream for her it would be to get rich off of eating gobs of food. She wants to be rich. Everything she's done since she's been 4 years old is trying to get rich and get things that don't belong to her. From other people's ideas, other people's genuine ideas, other people's ideas they've worked hard for. Straight up, she commits copyright infringement on other people's ideas and lives. As such, mukbang. Now, some of her window-licking fans put this idea in her pea brain that she's a good ASMR. Now, unless those initials stand for something else, beginning with a-hole, massacrates, I don't see how this is ASMR, because I'm telling you, this jacks my blood pressure up watching what she's doing to food. I mean, the food did nothing to her. Have you ever seen her stab at a salad? Innocent friggin' lettuce sitting there, and it gets just stabbed like it was trying to run away from her. Like, what is she doing? So this mukbang she's turned into indulging her narcissistic needs, not anybody else's. Because if it is a sexual thing, is she really trying to turn on Worm Woman and Irma? Because those are the ones watching. And then we got Tay Tay and her little wrench. So, it is indeed a sexual thing. It is indeed a gluttonous thing. It is indeed a narcissistic thing. And it is a loneliness thing. It goes down to where it started in Korea, where it's shameful to eat alone. So if they ate on film, it made them not be alone. What is she fundamentally? She's lonely. She is so lonely. But why is she lonely? Because she pushes everybody away. Because she wants to control. She wants to control other people's opinions, thoughts, dreams. Opinions. It's all about control. That's all it is. So because she can't control anyone, she's alone. So she's alone. She's lonely. So this feeds to her loneliness. Eating big quantities of food on the internet. Now, the problem is that some of her window-licking fans try to imitate her. And so one of these window lickers is going to take the old yellow short bus to a restaurant. Okay? They're going to try and pull this at a restaurant. They're going to get on the food, and they're going to be like, oh, crunch, tingle, 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 tap, 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 nom, 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 nom. No, yes, I'm gonna go get a coffee now. Who says a coffee? Why don't you just say I'm gonna go get some coffee? Anywho, one of the window lickers is gonna pull this in a restaurant. What's gonna happen? They're going to tell them to put their mask back on while they eat. Is what's going to happen, and tell them to shut up or get out. Or somebody's going to lambaste them. I'm not kidding. If I saw somebody doing that, I would get up. Much like the person who was eating with her with Dr. Sherry, who all of a sudden had an emergent need to get up and run from that restaurant. And Dr. Sherry tried to talk him down and stay so Dr. Sherry wouldn't be alone with the dinosaur. But that woman was out. Okay, I would be out of there. I would not be in the presence of somebody making such a friggin' spectacle of themselves. Filming while you're with company, not engaging with the other people. Because that's the thing, is if somebody does make the mistake of thinking that she's halfway normal enough to spend time with, or they're a captive audience, or I don't know what circumstances somebody would want to share a meal with her, but anyway, if they did, she can't sit down and enjoy their presence, okay? Engage with them, because the only audience she ever had, and I do mean audience, is Carol. Because as you know, if Carol has an apartment, oh, that stove is going to be spanking clean when she leaves, because Carol would have never used the oven. So what does that mean? All of those pictures where you used to see them dining together, what does that mean? means Carol didn't cook. It means that Carol would take her out to eat every day. And so she had that companionship. She had people waiting on her. Okay? This is Carol's enabling. Carol did not prepare her to be an adult in the real world. Carol enabled her. Okay? And the extended family saw this behavior and this enabling behavior in Carol and told her to knock it off. She's raising a beast. And no one is going to take that beast. You know, you can tame a shrew, but the beast, no, it can't be a housewife. It can't. And it doesn't know how to cook. It doesn't know how to clean. It doesn't know how to care for any living being. It's abusive. It's insulting. And that is what we have. So she was used to being waited on, cooked for. So she, in mukbang, it is large quantities of food that people often make themselves, delicious food. But of course, there are people who do salads, and she saw Nick Avocado doing salads. So she decided she can rip open a bag from Walmart that has the pre-made salads. That's what she does, and that's what she used to feed to Lizzie Balls, too. Rest in peace, Lizzie Balls. But she goes and she'll open up a big bag of salad and then stab it out of it and eat it. So she gets one of those big bags of salads and meant for two for a good meal. Like if I have one, it's gonna, if it was meant for a side, for a family, then yeah, you have your servings. But if it was for just you, it's way too much to eat. Not for her. It's not even enough. Not even. That's an appetizer for her. That's a side salad, a bag that would feed 5 or 6. So you have somebody trying to copy mukbang, putting their special LBL touch on it and just screwing it up. And that's what you have. In her. Or him. Shim. Anyway. That's what's going on with the mukbang. It is serving her loneliness. It is making her feel like she's in a restaurant with other people around watching her, because she always thinks that she is the star of the show. So she's feeling that need by her audience watching her. Okay? She loves an audience, hates a crowd. Okay? So she is serving her loneliness factor. She is serving her gluttonous. She is serving her narcissistic need by mukbang. Now, this is also funny because it shows that she lacks insight and empathy, because people are doing that for others that are actually professional in it. They're doing it for the others. And that's why they make money, because they've done something for somebody that they see as a service that made them relax. So they give them money. She's doing it for her own purposes. She wants to get rich. She wants to get rich now, and she wants the extra food given to her. Okay? That's why she does not succeed in any of these get-rich-quick schemes, because she's missed the concept, as she always does. Or as she calls it, putting the LBL touch on it. In other words, ruining whatever. Let's talk about that devil doll, and then we'll talk about how she ruined it. The people will have those little dolls. And that doll could have went into an Alzheimer's unit. I sent it to Carol. Oops. Anyway, but so she got this expensive doll that she lied about being donated, and she actually paid for, and then she tried to make it look like it came from her loin. And so she went and effed up its hair and face really bad. And then it looked too much like her, so then she's like, oh, I ruined it. Oh, look at her face. Oh, yes. Well, but she had told us all that she was an expert, and she knew how to handle this type of hair and everything. In other words, she Googled something, and then she tried it, and it didn't work. And Anyway. Interesting as always. I'm going to cut this at the 20-minute mark here. Thank you for listening, as always. I appreciate your comments. I do see them, even if they get taken down. I can't always comment on them. I am sorry that I have to remain anonymous for now. I mean, there'll be a time when y'all know me, but for right now, my role in her life is still significant, and I'm still information gathering. So, thank you for listening.